Hey guys, welcome to the 5th episode of my Road to 2000 FIDE. And in this series I'm going to review and analyze the games that I played in the KNSB and RSB, the Dutch Chess Federation and the Rotterdam Chess Federation. And these first few episodes, I think the first 7 episodes, are games that I played last year. And the next episodes behind that are the games that I'm going to play this year, which is probably the year that I'm going to get an official FIDE rating. At this point, I don't have an official FIDE rating yet. The goal, of course, of this series is to get a FIDE rating of 2000. I do have a KNSB rating, which is slightly different. I mean, they both have slightly different ways of determining if you're eligible for a rating. My KNSB rating is 1866 at this point, so not that far away from 2000, but it is a little bit different than FIDE, and yeah, still a lot of things to do. So, I mean, it's not that clear and definitely not that easy. I already mentioned in the first episode that it's probably going to take years before I get to 2000, if I even do. So, that is going to be the reality, where it's going to take a long time. The series is also going to be a very stretched series. The episodes are going to be sometimes weeks or months apart, of course, because I only play a few games every year. So, yeah, not going to be very much episodes of this series, unfortunately. But yeah, it's going to be a fun series to see progress during the years and the months. Okay, enough talking. I keep talking a lot during these episodes, but okay. We start with the game. As you can see in the bottom right, there is a small overview, of course, of the games. And one small thing I wanted to say about this is, of course, he played a 84.2. I played an 82% accuracy. And the funny thing is, one of the things is accuracy is very misleading. So in the last game, my opponents and I played at a much higher accuracy, like 93 and 88, I think. In this game, it's 82 and 84. But even though the accuracy is lower, this game, my opponent definitely showed why he is a better player than the previous one, which is very, very interesting to see, because the accuracy doesn't always represent how good you are, because sometimes the positions get very messy. In the last game, it was very boring, very equal the entire time up until the end, in this game it's much more dynamic. This is also going to be a very interesting game. It's going to be very, very interesting because there's a lot of things happening. Okay, we are going to start. I was playing with the white pieces here. I played e4. One small minor note as well, I've already told it before, but very important to realize, the FIDE idea is the code behind their names. So Luke has a FIDE ID that is here in the screen. You can search up his FIDE profile, you can see his rating, how strong he is, all sorts of stuff like that. And I had to say, my opponent at this point, I wasn't really familiar with how strong he was, like I always am. I play someone, I'm not exactly sure how strong they are. It's a little bit of a guess. This guy was, it was a younger kid. I think he was 15, 14. Usually when playing kids that are that age, in the grown, FIDE, the KNSB, the tournaments for grown-ups, it's a bad sign. it's a very bad sign, because that means he's very good. I mean, if you are 14 and you are already playing at that level, it's usually a very bad sign. So the point, I don't know, I probably, like, after the game, I think I heard from someone that he was already rated above 2000 in his local chess club, which he didn't have a FIDE rating yet, of course, but he was already above 2000 in his local chess club. So, yeah, already a very strong player, and also a kid, so he learns very, very quickly, of course. So, beforehand, I didn't know that. So, I was just playing, and I was just seeing, okay, how strong is he, we're going to see, I didn't really realize how strong he was. And so I just went in it with I just went in it and just kind of did my thing. So, okay, c6, d4, d5, the Caro-Kann. He plays the Caro-Kann. Well, of course, I am very familiar with the Caro-Kann, so that is nice. And there was the opportunity to go for f3, the fantasy variation, or something more practical and a little bit more less dubious. Let's keep it at that. Less adventurous. So I went for knight c3, the main move actually, and my opponent took. I took. My opponent went knight f6, And there are two opportunities here. I can take here, I can go back. It's a little bit equal. There's not a whole lot of difference between both moves. The most common thing is this, which is the target to cower. This is an opening well known because it's very, very equal, and it usually it leads to kind of equal positions. But I don't play this a whole lot as white, so I was like, I don't really get into this position as white, like, ever. I like almost rarely get into this position with white. I always get into this position with black because I play the Caro-Kann and I don't really face a whole lot of Caro-Kanns. So that is why I decided to probably just stick with what I know is knight g3, which is not the best thing, but you know. My opponent went h5, which is the best move, or at least the book move. And here I should have probably just played h4 and just continued playing the game like this, which is also probably considered the best way to play it. However, I was like, okay, let's go bishop c4, and if he wants to push, I'm just gonna put my knight somewhere back and just play the game like that. And I wasn't really familiar with the whole h5 h4 idea in this line, and my opponent probably was, so that is something that kind of got used against me. h4, knight to e2, and at this point. This is actually quite funny, by the way. You can't see this, but chess.com says that this move is called knight 3 to e2 instead of knight g to e2, and the reason why is because there's two knights on the g file. you can't note this as knight g to e2 because you don't know which knight is going to e2. That's something I never seen that before, by the way. So that's interesting. Knight 3 to e2 because I'm on the third file. Okay, interesting. Didn't know that was a thing, but okay. Bishop f5. Okay, knight f3, and obviously now I wanted to just keep on developing. And my opponent immediately went for h3, and wow, yeah, I mean, I gotta say, at this point I was already like, ooh, okay, this guy is probably really good, because this is already a very annoying thing to deal with. And I was looking at some sort of knight 95, knight g5, attack this pawn somehow, maybe sacrifice and get some sort of attack going. Obviously the idea of this pawn push is to undermine this whole structure here and disallow the kingside castle, which is very good, of course, by my opponent. And h3, very nice move. I after this game I played here. I sometimes tend to play this line myself because I just found it very nice for him. H3 here I just took because I didn't really know what else to do. I mean, I could have also maybe gone g3, but that looks very, very bad because of this very weak light squares here, and you can maybe already go something like this, attack this, and this already feels pretty bad, even though here I can probably just go somewhere here or something and defend everything and attack, and apparently not this move, but So, okay, so I just took, he played e6, obviously stopping any ideas here on the f7 square, and he already has a very annoying open kingside, or I already have a very annoying open kingside. So at this point my opponent was already doing pretty well, I think. Not majorly winning or anything, but definitely already doing well. I was already out of the opening in a bit of trouble, which is something that hasn't happened. I mean, apart for the game that I lost, which was also a game in which I got in trouble out of the opening. Hasn't really happened. In the other games, I got out of the opening really well. The first game, it was quite equal. The second game was the one that I lost, which is, that was the game that I lost, in which I also got in trouble out of the opening. Then the third game, I got very well out of the opening, and I kind of misplayed it. And in the fourth game, the opening was very equal as well. So, yeah, I'm already seeing a little bit of trend here, of course. I hope you see it as well, where if I get into a bad position out of the opening, it usually becomes troublesome. So yeah, here I played h4, which is not the best move. The reason I played h4 is very simple, actually, because if I go here, for example, you can just take, and I mean, that's just a free pawn, even though this is apparently the best continuation, probably. Is this the best move? Okay, it's a good move, not the best move. But h4 was my attempt of keeping the pawn, defended by the knight, so he can't take. But yeah, obviously in hindsight, I mean, the problem with thinking this way is probably that this pawn isn't important. I mean, it's obviously going down a pawn is always bad, but I think in this position, what you want to do with white is you want to just prefer, piece development instead of losing this pawn. This pawn is already very bad. So you just have to, if he takes here, for example, you can maybe go knight here, and I mean, this is maybe go here, long castles. You want to get back into the game a little bit. So yeah, that is in hindsight what I did wrong with h4. It's just not really, I mean, my ideal was probably to go h4 and then bishop g5 and then just defend the pawn forever with my bishop, and you can't really kick it out easily because you can't move the knight because of the pin, and if you ever move your queen and then move your knight, you can maybe play f6 in the long run, but that's gonna take a few moves. So that was probably my idea with h4, but yeah, it's just not very good. The reason h4 is just not very good, like I mentioned, is because this pawn is just, it's not very important. So yeah, so my opponent played b5, and this is a mistake, is a miss apparently. He should have played bishop e4, attack this knight again, and if I ever move it, he can just take, and then maybe take something like this, maybe. He doesn't have to take the pawn right now. He can just build up his advantage as well. Maybe he can go, I don't know, some bishop move or something. So yeah, my opponent kind of made a mistake there by going b5, and here I counter mistaked because I should have played, let's see, yeah, bishop here to disallow bishop e4 and to trade off light squared bishops. Yeah, the reason I played bishop b3 is because I kind of wanted to keep this tension on this side of the board. I wanted to maybe still put my knight somewhere in the center. Yeah, probably that is the reason why I played like this. Yeah, so yeah, bishop b3 is miss. There was a better move, bishop d3. So my opponent immediately went c5, which is the best move. And yeah, obviously, if you play someone who is kind of strong, you've kind of really immediately realize that you can kind of notice it, because moves like c5, I think this is this is a little bit what extinguishes a 1700, maybe even 1800 rated player against a 2000 rated player, because a move like c5 is just very nice, and there's a lot of different ideas behind this. Of course, if I go here, he wants to probably trade queens. I think this is the best move. Yeah, and then if I take back, he can already go something like, I don't know, what is this still good here? Maybe he just takes back now and attacks this pawn. Okay, apparently there's a little bit better move. Yeah, still this. Okay, yeah. Now I have to go here probably or something. Yeah. So, and this kind of happened later, but okay. So, yeah, that is why I can't really take. That's probably what he saw. He saw that if I take, I'm in trouble, and I saw that too. So I was like, okay, yeah, I'm in trouble if I take. So what if I just play c3? And at first glance, I was thinking, okay, c3, if he goes here, I go here, and we trade off, and I'm doing fine. This is what I saw in my head. I was like, okay, but now I'm just fine, right? And now I'm just doing okay. Apparently, but not apparently, but here I just missed one move. And yeah, that is, once again, also a minor thing that distinguishes an 1800 rated player from a 2000 rated player, is like sometimes you just don't calculate far enough and you just miss an idea. And after c5, after c3, I just thought, okay, but now I should be okay, right? Because if you take here, I might even take with this knight, and now I'm just doing fine. I mean, this is just good. Even I can go maybe here. I'm attacking this. So yeah, it's all about even before you play c5, you have to already realize that the plan is to push through instead of take, and all sorts of stuff like that. You have to already keep that in mind. And yeah, my first thought was, okay, I can't take here, but if I go c3 and if we pull the bishop back, I'm doing just fine. This is where I thought, okay, now I'm just doing fine, right? I mean, I'm the pressure is gone. I mean, he has to develop his knight. I'm just going to develop my knight, and maybe I'm going to develop the bishop. I'm gonna long castle, and I'm out of the woods. That's what I thought. I'm out of the woods. But I missed one move here. I missed one move which is just very strong. It's queen d5, and yeah, I mean that once again. I mean this is just this is what extinguishes an 1800 rated player from a 2000 rated player, and this is where I already thought, okay, I'm gonna probably lose this game because my opponent is playing very well, and he was. I mean, he just played very well. So here there's only one thing I can do. I can move the knight because if I do, I lose the rook with the check. So I'm just completely losing. This is -5 probably. Yeah, -5.8. So I can move the knight. And how do you defend this knight? You can't go anywhere here. You can't go anywhere here. So the only way to defend the knight is knight g1. And have you ever seen an uglier move than knight g1? I don't. I mean, yeah, probably I have seen an uglier move, but this is definitely up there. So yeah, like I mentioned, even though the advantage isn't that big here, he is still just much better because knight g1 is not a move you want to play here. And now I still can move this knight. So if he could pile up extra pressure, for example, this pawn would have still been, or this pawn would have been here or something, if this pawn would have been gone, he could have just maybe pushed and I mean, there's still a bishop, but there's ideas to put extra pressure. That's the point. Something maybe even like this, which looks kind of crazy, but so yeah, purely looking at material count, I'm up here. I mean, I'm up a pawn, but yeah, this is just better for black. And yeah, that's the kind of thing you have to deal with if you want to get to 2000, because this my opponent here was rated about 2000. So as you can imagine, it's very difficult. It's very, very difficult to get there. Okay, so knight e to g1 is the move that I played. I had to play. And here he just played knight c6. And now, of course, he's doing quite well. I mean, he develops his knight. I mean, it's just a good position for him, so he can just slowly improve. I played bishop g5, which isn't the best move. What I should have done is go here and maybe try to get my knight back into the game. Maybe, I don't know, some idea to maybe even trade off queens or somehow. And then maybe slowly build up and castle. Bishop d5, not a terrible move, but not the best move. He played knight e4, which is also not a terrible move, but also not the best move. I played bishop e3, which is also an inaccuracy, not the best move, not a terrible move. I should have just played h3 to prevent b4. Yeah, okay. So I didn't really want to lose my light squared bishop or my dark squared bishop because of the knight, even though it's probably okay. So yeah. And now what I mentioned, he plays b4. Yeah, once again, a very strong opponent, a very strong move. I mean, b4 is just very good. I mean, the b4 is just obviously what I want to do. If you don't play b4, if you just play this or something, maybe what I want to do is play a3 right now. I think a3 is what the computer wants. Okay, maybe not. Okay, computer just wants king f1, which is okay, crazy, but yeah. Yeah, I need to get my king into safety. That's the point. I need to get my king to safety. So that is why b4 is so good, because it opens up the b file, and it's going to open up a lot of things. If I take here, I'm probably just immediately lost. Is it okay? It's the best move apparently. This would have been the best continuation probably. Yeah, but I mean, playing king f1 is something you don't want to do. So I think the most important thing about b4 is that it stops my idea to long castle, which is arguably stopped anyways, but I mean, it's opening things up, which is good, and that is very important. So let's see. I decided to just play knight e2, get my knight back into the game. Maybe if I can somehow get my king out of harm's way, I can connect my rooks again. And he just simply took here, and I had to play knight f4, an intermediate move, or an in-between move, of course, because obviously his queen is under attack. So he played another in-between move, cxb2, which is actually an interesting in-between move. Yeah. I saw this. I saw that he can take here first, and then I saw that I can probably not take here, because then he just takes here, and I have to go up, and now there's all sorts of things. Maybe he can just take here. Yeah, this is probably just enough for him. I'm just down significantly. Yeah. So okay, so that was not an option, which I kind of realized. So funny, two in-between moves on a row. Then I just took with the queen, which is good, not the best thing. Like I mentioned, this is a very complex game. For a lot of different things are going on. Also, very difficult to say who's better or who did or what is the best move, of course, because this is exactly why accuracy is so misleading. because I mean, we didn't play the best moves. We played good moves. We played very good chess, but not the best moves. And then the engine says, okay, that's not accurate enough, so the accuracy goes down. Even though in this position it's much harder to find the best moves than it was in the last game, in the previous episode. So yeah, very interesting to see. But okay, I took the pawn on b2, and he went queen a5, which is not the best thing. Also in inaccuracy, I went king f1. Finally, I had somehow had to bring my king to safety. And now he went knight d6, and now actually this was my moment to get back into the game. Which is obviously, it's not easy to find the way to get back into this game, because it, like I mentioned, it's very, very difficult, and it's very difficult to navigate this game. But here I should have played d5, yeah, which is just a very difficult move to see. I mean, the idea maybe being to open up my queen, and if he takes back with the pawn, I might have ideas to go on the e file. He's also not castled. He's not looking at castling soon, because he can't play here, because then I take. So yeah, this would have been the best continuation. Yeah, like I mentioned, it's just a very difficult move to find. d5. You can't really take with the queen. That's just why it is so good, probably. Yeah. So opening things up would have been best for me. Yeah, I mean, you can take your lessons out of this. Of course, d5 is a very difficult move to find, very positional move. Why this is good, of course, but yeah. So I played bishop d2 instead, which is a miss, because he can move his queen. I did went c3, bishop c3 afterwards to overprotect this pawn, maybe then go d5 and try to win this pawn, which is something that I looked at in this position. Also, I wanted to prevent, obviously here, if I play something like this, he just goes here, and I'm just game over. So I had to stop that, so I went bishop c3, and he went knight b5, attacking my dark squared bishop, obviously a good move. I went king g2, which is another miss. Like I mentioned, this is a very messy game, but yeah. And he went bishop d6, attacking my knight. I went knight e2, he went rook b8, putting his rook on the same file as my queen. Yeah, I mean... And I went queen d2, he went knight e7, both finding good moves here, the best moves at least, so that's nice. Here I went queen g5, which is a bit of a risky move, attacking this pawn, and yeah, maybe this is still defended like this, but it is very risky. And my opponent here played h6, rook h6. Which is good, of course, because if I take here, I mean, you lose your queen and you go home to your mommy and cry, which is not what happened, luckily for me, but, you know, after this game, arguably, I still had to go home and cry to my mom, which is not what happened either, but, you know, that is something you can do. And yeah, so obviously the idea of rook h6 is to go rook g6 and pin my queen. And here I was debating about two moves. I was debating about h5, and I was debating about queen d2, just going back and yeah, you know, just going back. And I should have played h5. I was down on time significantly here, or at least down on time. I was low on time. I think we both were, but I was definitely very low on time. This was at move 28 of the game, so yeah, very low on time. And yeah, I should have played h5. The reason why is, of course, because now you prevent g6 with the rook g6, and you can maybe take this pawn. You can't really push it. Yeah, there are ways to defend it. I think something like this might do it, but I don't know if this is a good move. Probably not. But it is a way to prevent me from taking g7. So, yeah, in hindsight, I should have played h5, which I didn't. I played queen d2. And obviously queen d2, I mean, bringing your queen all the way back, allowing the check, I mean, just not very good. I mean, obviously logical that it's not very good, because, I mean, it just... in chess is all about keeping the momentum. It's like a wave. You have to, I mean, if you are a boxer, let's say you are boxing, and you get hit by your opponent, it's very important not to go ahead and crawl into a ball in the corner and get hit even more, which is kind of the equivalent of like getting hit by your opponent and then just retreating. You never want to retreat. You need to keep giving punches back to your opponent, which is obviously one of the most hardest things in chess, is because sometimes it is very difficult to, if you think you're doing well and you're progressing in the game, it can be very difficult at a certain point to keep the momentum going. If you get into a position where there's nothing for you anymore and your opponent can keep giving you punches, that is when you start losing games, is because the momentum is gone, and if the momentum is gone, he takes over the initiative, and that is why you lose games. And it's kind of what's happening in this game. I mean, if you look at this position, look at the activity of his pieces. I mean, this knight is active, this rook is arguably active, the queen is not very active, but this rook is active, this bishop is active. What active pieces do I have? My bishop is locked behind my own pawn. This knight is kind of stuck, which also doesn't. I mean, he can go here, but then it just exchanges his pawn, and my rooks are not doing anything. My king is in the open. So yeah, a lot of things are not very good for me in this position, which is why you have to take all those things in account when making moves. And yeah, I already mentioned it in the previous episode, I think, but material isn't always the thing you want to go for. Sometimes you have to play positional chess, and yeah. So, queen d2, a bad move, because retreating is very bad in this situation. Then he went knight d5, which is a good move, not the best move. I went rook h to b1, the best move, trying to activate my rook. And here, another moment, rook g6 check finally came in. I have two choices here. I can go f1 or h1. I mean, h3, I wouldn't personally go there ever, because that allows some sort of, maybe some checks, and, just not a very good move, because then, yeah, you're just up on the board, and you're probably going to get checkmated somehow. And here, for some unclear reason, which I'm still not really sure about why I did this, I went king h1, which is just very bad, because I mean you don't want to cut off your own king like this. Your king is much more unsafe on h1 than it is on f1, especially because now there are some ideas to also put some queen on this diagonal and attack my knight here and pin it, and we kind of get back into the same situation where we were earlier, where this knight is being pinned, or at least this time by the king, pin for the king, the other time for the rook, but kind of the same mistake that I made earlier, where I allowed the pin, of course. So I should have just went king f1. Yeah, I mean, you should just go king f1 here. I mean, very, very obvious actually that you should go king f1. So maybe the only reason I can imagine playing king h1 is to maybe somehow go rook g1 and try to trade off rooks and attack this pawn somehow, but that's not really gonna work. The downside of this knight being pinned is much greater than trying to exchange rooks. So yeah, there I made a mistake, king h1, which is just, I mean, once again, it's unclear to me why I did this, but okay. My opponent immediately goes queen c6, trying to take over the, or at least what I mentioned, the idea that I mentioned earlier, where he just attacks this knight. And here it's already very tricky. If I play anything like this, for example, which is just a stupid move, of course, but if I do this, he can probably already take here. And yeah, if I take here, he can go here, and it's just mate, so you can't do that. So what do? Here you have to play something like this probably, and So yeah, like I mentioned, I have to be very careful. And here I played h5, and my opponent. The funny part is, I played h5. And my opponent did exactly what I just mentioned. I mean, he immediately did what I just mentioned. He attacks this knight with his queen, and I can't take back like this because I lose a queen, of course. So what did I do here? I played d5, and yeah, I mean, I kind of had to. Not really any options here, but d5 is a nice move. The reason is because now his queen is under attack and his knight rook is under attack, so he has to make a choice. He can save his queen by maybe here, maybe here, some way to save his queen. But d5 is a nice move, obviously the only move. That is why knight c3 is a mistake here. And this video is going to be a long video, by the way. I don't know, I'm already recording 29 minutes, and I'm going to record another 10 for sure, because there's a lot of moves coming still. I'm on move 31. There's 68 moves in this game, so buckle up if you want to watch this entire video. I don't think there's going to be a lot of people that's going to watch this entire video. If you're still watching, let me know in the comments, because that's you're an OG, because that is awesome. But yeah, d5. Yeah, d5 obviously the only move I can play. I mean, really, I don't think, I mean, I can take the engine lines here. There is literally no other move that I can play. The second best move is queen e3, and like I mentioned, I just showed you in the other line, this is -6. So I mean, d5 is the only move. So d5, and he took my rook. which is funny because I obviously have a hanging queen as well. So I have to take back, because if I take here, he just takes my queen, and if I go here, he just saves his rook, and you know, this is just completely game over for me, considering he's up a rook. So yeah, I had to take back with my rook, and now he goes queen here. I can take his queen, and then I can take his rook. And my opponent, being a very strong player, he already realized, okay, I can go into this because I'm winning. I'm just straight up winning. Even though it looks like now so here in this position, I kind of got excited, man. I thought I might just get a draw out of it. I thought I was like, okay, maybe I can get a draw, double pawns here. I mean, you know, I can bring my king, I can bring my knights. You know, I was kind of getting excited. Maybe I have an idea to push h4, a4 if he goes. I mean, he can't really go. Yeah, I can go here. Then I take, and you know, there are drawing ideas. Unfortunately for me, this is still completely lost, of course. This is minus 2.6. I somehow got back into the game, but not enough, unfortunately. And I started with rook d1, attacking this pawn. And you gotta imagine at this point, I probably only had like 10 minutes, maybe 5, 10, maybe 15 minutes. Not a whole lot of minutes. I started with 90, and I also had increment of 30 seconds. Yeah, not a whole lot of time left. There is the rule, I mentioned it in an earlier episode, but there was the rule that if you cross the 40 move barrier, you get an extra 30 minutes. So after 40 moves, you can think a little bit longer. But at this point, we're at move 36, so still a few moves to go. And time is definitely very important. Yeah, rook d1 in hindsight, probably not the best move. I mean, you can just push probably. I think that's already okay. Yeah, I can't push because I have 2 knights attacking. But yeah, there are ways to defend this probably. Or at least, yeah, I mean, he can go here, defend it. Yeah, I think that's what he did, right? Yeah, he went knight c7, defend it. Still, it looks kind of interesting for me. But this pawn is not up for grabs yet. I can maybe go here. Yeah, you know, that's what I did. Knight c3. And now he went king e7. And here, once again, I made the mistake, I think, of thinking that winning a pawn is gonna win me the game. That I keep making the same mistakes. It's actually quite obvious. I mean, there are minor things that I do wrong in a chess game, and one of these things is that I focus too much on material count. So I can list them all right now. I mean, I focus too much on material count. I don't calculate lines deep enough. I sometimes think I'm winning and I'm not winning. I've seen it in multiple games that I've played throughout this year. In the FIDE, I saw in the third game I had one situation in which I had made on the board, but I just thought I had a winning tactic and I just went for it immediately without looking at other checks. Things like that. I mean, yeah. I mean, it's actually kind of stupid because I can do better, because I know that I have a pretty good concept of what I'm doing wrong, and I also have a pretty good concept of how it should be done better. So you know. So another lesson to be learned: don't take pawns always. I mean, it doesn't always necessarily mean that it's going to be good for you. Knight x d5, knight x d5, and rook x d5. And the problem here is that the pawn is just running. I mean, that is just. I mean, the pawn is running. The pawn is going. It's too far. That's the problem. If I go, for example, if I go all the way back here and he pushes again, I can go here. He can go here, maybe. Don't know if this is. Yeah, this is still winning for him. Maybe something like this. If I'd go into this, I'd probably be losing still. Yeah. So, yeah. Once again, like I mentioned, I mean, it's just. That you don't get too excited. I mean, the pawn is running. That's the problem. I mean, even though you get to exchange a pawn, and I'm only down a pawn here. I'm only down 1 pawn, but it's just you can't keep defending this. This pawn is just too far. It's just over, and he's just a lot better. So he went rook b1, b2. I went rook a5, defending my pawn, attacking his pawn. He's very close to promoting, so he just pushed c2. I took a pawn with check. He went king f6, and now I had to sacrifice my knight, because otherwise there was just simply no way to prevent the promotion. So I sacrificed my knight, and I fought on for quite a long while here. Rook a6, king e5, king g2, bishop c5, and here rook x g6, and now it was close to a draw. Obviously, in positions like this, I'm not going to resign. I mean, I'm not going to resign almost ever. I mean, unless, of course, I'm playing a very strong player and it's very obvious that I'm losing. Here, it is not very obvious. I mean, minus 2.7, it is not very obvious. especially because rook endgames are very tricky. I have 3 pawns on the board right now. He's gonna take 1, but I have 2 pawns against 1 pawn and a bishop. If I can trade all the pawns and the rooks, it's a draw. I mean, if he keeps his bishop and the rooks are gone and the pawns are gone, it's just a draw. I mean, you can't mate with a single bishop and a king. So yeah, drawing chance is enough, but yeah, I just took here. And yeah, my opponent being a strong player, he took on f2 first, and then after moving, he went rook f7. And now this, obviously, how many of you would make the same mistake that I made throughout this series a few times? Quite a lot, I think, because if you go here, it's a draw. It's a dead-on draw. I mean, this is exactly the situation that I just mentioned. This is, I mean, what you do here, it's just gonna be a draw. This pawn, this rook, it's not enough. I mean, now the problem is you need to keep your pawn on the board. He needed to keep his pawn. If he didn't keep his pawn, this pawn is actually the only like life source he still has. If this pawn were gone, it's just a draw. I mean, rooks, I can even give up my pawn, I think, maybe. But I mean, I want to trade rooks, and if I trade rooks, I'm 100% sure I'm gonna draw the game. So yeah, like I mentioned, I was still having faint hopes about drawing this game. But once again, my opponent playing rook f7, very nice move, of course, defending his pawn. And yeah, like I mentioned, the most important thing. Here I gave a check and played h4. He went bishop d6. I went king g4. He went bishop e5. I went king h5. He went rook a7. I went a4, and a4 is a nice move. If you go here, I can go here, and you are losing the game. So a tactical way to defend the the pawn. Now, however, the threat is reopened, because if I do whatever, if I go here, for example, you can take, because if I go here, you can block, and yeah, it's just good enough. This apparently is a draw as well, because now I can take here. Yeah, okay. So actually, you can't block, which is interesting, but okay. I went rook g4 immediately, which is also not the best choice. I should have probably just played this. Yeah, or okay, this is also not very good. I should have, what should I have done? I'm not sure. What is the best move here? I'm not sure. What is the best move? Okay, this apparently is the best move. Okay. Sometimes the engine lines are a bit weird, but okay. Rook g4, apparently the best move, according to the engine. King f5, apparently the best move, and now it's back to minus 3.4. Don't really get it, but okay. And I kept giving a couple of checks and went back to rook g4, and now he went rook a6, and I went rook c4, he went rook g6, and I went rook b4, he went rook g1, I went rook g4, he went g6, I went king g5, and as you can see, in the final stages of the game, once again his how do you say it, his yeah, the fact that he's a better chess player is what eventually won him the game, because he did some very nice piece placement. Even though rook g6 is not the best move according to the engine, it is a very nice move. The reason is because he cuts off my king, and my king is already looking very silly here on h5. I mean, it needs to be active, and if my king were here, it would be a very different game. So yeah, rook g6, rook b4, rook g1. Yeah, g6. Yeah, it's just a very nice idea that he found here. And rook f1. And here I made the last mistake that cost me the game. I don't know why I didn't just play something like this here, which is also okay. I know why I didn't just play that. Apparently, is this the mate? Where's the mate? There's a mate here. Okay, there's this. Okay, yeah. So I probably didn't play h5 because or a5 because I saw the mate here. But what did I do to prevent it? I went king h6 immediately. Yeah. So what should I have done here? Maybe this move. Is that the idea? No. What is the idea? Okay, rook b4. Just make space for my king. Yeah, because now if he checks, I can go here. Yeah, so I should have just moved the rook. But I thought, okay, he's trying to mate me. I'm just gonna go king h6. However, king h6 is a big mistake, because now my rook is, or my king is completely boxed in. I mean, yeah, king h6 is just a bad move, because I mean, this is just I mean, I kind of get it. I mean, you want to win this pawn maybe, but you're not really gonna win this pawn. The funny part is he went rook f5 anyways. And the funny part is, if I take here, he can go bishop here and here and here, and it's still mate. So yeah, because of blocking and mating me, which is, I think that is what I realized here at this point, that I can't take this this pawn. And that is when I thought, okay, yeah, I'm just gonna lose this game, because now I don't think there's anything I can do. I took the pawn anyways, and then bishop f4, and I had to sacrifice my my rook for the bishop. And now, of course, I mean, this is completely losing. I mean, I have a pawn that looks very much almost ready for promotion, but I mean, it doesn't really matter what I do here. Yeah, I mean, it's just losing. I'm just losing. So yeah, I mean, that was the 5th game I played in the Counter-Speed. Obviously, my opponent being a young kid and very strong already for his age. I mean, he pretty much was up the entire game, apart from very small moments in the opening. But yeah, I mean, the only thing I can really be happy about in this game is probably, let's see, where was it? The move d5. Yeah, I mean, d5 is probably the only thing that I can really be happy about in this game. I mean, there were some nice moments, but d5 is a nice moment indeed. It's not enough. It wasn't enough. He played it well, even up until this point. I mean, from d5 on forward, he found all the best moves, this, and this. So even though I got into a position which was definitely more or less kind of equal for me, it was still enough for him to win. And my feigned thought of drawing this game was not really based on anything. Maybe I should have, in hindsight, maybe I should have went here. Is this a move? Is this a good move? This is not a good move. Can he just take? Okay, he can just take. That's a free. Okay, yeah, that's definitely not a good move. So maybe something like this. Yeah, you know, also not a good move. What should I have done here? I should have played king h2 immediately. Okay, yeah. So, okay, well, that was my 5th game. Hopefully you guys liked it. A very long video, 42 minutes at this point. A very long and a very difficult game. A lot of things going on there. Would even be another 40 minutes to be made to look at all the sidelines in this episode, because of course there's a lot of things that were going on here. Hopefully you guys liked it, and yeah, see you guys in the next one. Bye.